What if you treated the last 4 months of this year like they mattered, just as much as the first four? What if instead of coasting into December, you decided to lock in? No excuses, no distractions, just discipline and focus. That is the idea of the TikTok trend, the great lock in of 2025. And today, I kind of wanted to talk about that trend and why I decided to join and what I'm committing to, and how maybe if you decide to do it, you can make it work for you as well. Welcome to At the Table podcast, a virtual table where we discuss all things young adulting. I am your host, Fikayo, and thank you so much for having me in your ears. Today we are talking about this lock-in trend, not just as a TikTok challenge, but as a real invitation to lead yourself with intention. I really like this goal, or I really like this trend, because I like the idea of starting or finishing the end of the year just as strong as you intend to start it. And I guess the core question I want us to with today is, what does it actually look like to lock in on yourself, to take your goals, your health, your focus, your discipline serious, not just in January, but now in September when the year's about to end out? And maybe it's more than that. It's also, how do you do it in a way that feels sustainable and real, and not just like you're trying to copy someone else's lifestyle, but you're building your own rhythm. So I guess this is where I am. When I first saw the trend, I was like, I don't know. This is kind of intense, because some people, they're doing like gallons of water. They're doing strict protein tracking. They're doing cold showers, hardcore gym routine, full on diet restrictions, all of that. And I was like, there's just no way. I can't do all of that and maintain the life that I have right now. I respect it. I really do. But I also just know myself. It's going to be harder to do it than to, I guess, like, not do it. I mean, I guess that's the point, right? But I just knew that it wasn't sustainable for me. But as I've been leaning on discipline and trying to figure out what works in a way that fits me, I realized that I actually don't have to do exactly what everyone else is doing. I can commit to goals that I know are completely obtainable for me. So I did not adopt the entire list. I decided to do my own versions of the lock in. And for me, it's going to look like waking up at 5 a.m. every day, which I'm kind of doing now, going to the gym every weekday, which I'm also kind of doing, meal prepping, which I'm definitely doing, studying after work, which I'm also doing, as well as walking 10,000 steps a day, which I'm definitely doing right now. And what this allows me to do is it allows me to continue the habits that I'm doing now, right? While adding a bit more structure into my life and applauding the things that I already am doing that are kind of hard, but introducing new things or maybe little curves that make what I'm already doing not harder, but just kind of take it up a notch and make sure that I am steadily doing this thing. Now, am I late? Yes. The official lock-in date started September 1st, and I didn't decide this until maybe a couple days ago. But honestly, I think that's part of the reflection. So many of us hold back on starting things because we think that we've missed the window. But I'm telling you, you don't need a perfect date to start. You need to start now. What is that quote? It's like, the best time to start was yesterday, but the second best time is today. Yep, the second best time is today. So I'm starting today, and that's where I'm at. I guess in this podcast as well, I wanted to talk about the teaching points that I think are important. And the first thing that I realized, or I would like to talk about, is how discipline is greater than perfection. I've learned that perfection is the fastest way to hit burnout. In my own personal walk, in my own personal experience, I realized that burnout is a thing. And I'm also learning that if I miss a day, it doesn't mean that I failed. It only means that I need to get back up. And that's kind of how I'm treating the lock-in. It's not about checking every box perfectly, but it's about training myself to show up consistently. And that's the mindset that I'm trying to build, not the one where it's like, if I didn't do something, I'm not good enough or I'm not perfect enough. It's like, no, no, no. You didn't do it today, but tomorrow is another day. We're going to do it tomorrow. Does that make sense? It's a mental rewiring that's very nuanced that I'm trying to build within myself. And it's coming along. It's coming along. I guess the point number 2 is also building realistic goals, not Instagram goals. I think it's tempting to see everyone else online and try to mirror their exact routine. But if you don't work out right now, I think it's delusional to say that you're going to work out 5 days a week. Like, it literally just doesn't work like that. Discipline is building from what you can sustain. For some people, it might be 1 workout a week and then growing to 3, right? For others, it might be 3 and then pulling yourself to do, 4 or 5. Point is, just don't compare. Start where your feet are and move accordingly. And point number 3 is locking in is self-leadership. When you keep promises that you make to yourself, you strengthen your ability to lead in every other area. If I, Fikayo, cannot trust myself to wake up when I say I will, or study when I said that I would, then why would anyone else trust in my leadership? That's how I see it in my own mind. And I try not to do that. I try as much as possible to keep promises to myself, because I want to have that experience in my head. Like, I want to know that I promised myself this thing and I did it. I told myself I was going to do this and I did it. Like, it is important for me to have that story in the back of my head that Fikayo keeps promises that she makes to herself. And the lock-in for me is really just for me to practice that self-leadership, and I think that's what makes it powerful. So I guess here's the shift that I want you to make. Maybe if you're considering doing the lock-in, don't think about the lock-in as a punishment. Don't think about it as a restriction. Don't think about it as depriving yourself. Think about it as direction. When I, Fikayo, say no sleeping in, I am saying yes to being more clear-headed in my day. When I say no scrolling at night, I am saying yes to waking up with more energy. When I am saying no to certain foods, I am also saying yes to feeling my body. Discipline is not about what you're losing, it's about what you're gaining. And if you can see it that way, it stops feeling like a cage and starts feeling like freedom. So here are 3 takeaways, 3 practical strategies that I want you to take from this podcast today. 1, I want you to start small. 2, I want you to not miss it twice. And 3, I want you to fuel your mind. Now let's go back to 1. What do I mean? I mean, choose the things that you can lock in on right now. It could be a 30-minute walk. Maybe you're already doing a walk and you're just going to decide to push it another 5 minutes, Make it something that you can do so that you can get it done. Again, it's not necessarily about like making sure that you're perfect. It's making sure that you're just consistent. At least maybe that's the way you can think about it. For myself, what I'm trying to do is try to make it a rule to not miss something twice. I think missing something once is normal. Missing it twice is the beginning of a pattern. And if you miss a gym day, fine, but don't let it turn into 2. This is how consistency is built, 1 brick at a time. And number 3, fuel your mind. For me, this is a huge one because what you're feeding into your brain is just as important as what you are feeding your body. So when I'm in states like this, where I am trying to push a new bud for myself, that's the best way I can say it. Like, I'm trying to create a new branch. I'm trying to create a new arm of whether it be consistency or discipline. I like listening to podcasts, readings, prayers. I like to surround myself in voices that encourage the growth that I am trying to bring out. And in doing this, I think of it like brainwashing, but it's really not. It's like reprogramming. so that everything in my environment is telling me and moving me to the direction that I'm trying to go. I am ever so intentional about this because I know it works. When I am really struggling in the morning to wake up, I will put on David Goggins and I will listen to him like berate me to the point where it's like, okay, like I need to get up. Or maybe he'll say just the right thing. And I'll be like, okay, yeah, that's enough. I need to stand up. And that really, really helps me. And I hope that it helps you as well. If you are going to do and partake in the lock-in of 2025, let me know. Let me know what you guys are going to be implementing and doing. Okay? Okay. Now on to our let's talk about it prompt. I don't know. I guess if you are going to do the great lock-in of 2025, what is one realistic goal that you are willing to commit to for the end of the year or for the rest of the year? Drop it in the comments or DM me. I'd love to hear what locking in looks like for you. I guess this is all. This is it. I'm done. If you want to keep these conversations going, follow me on Instagram at Fikayo. That's where I'm sharing my own lock-in journey in little ways, and I'm practicing discipline every day. New episodes drop every Saturday, so pull up a chair at the table, and I'll see you right here next week at the table. Goodbye.